Persons with disabilities and workers will take place at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission on 7th Street Industrial Area. Nominations, as you know, are a very important element on the electoral roadmap because it is after nominations that one becomes a candidate. And it is after one has become a candidate that you can begin to see the picture of how the ballot paper will look like. So effectively starting tomorrow, the shape of the candidates and the shape of the ballot paper for members of parliament will begin to emerge after the nominations of 22nd and 23rd of October. The Commission today informed the country as well that after nominations, obviously there will be campaigns. After nominations, campaigns for candidates who will now be candidates for members of parliament and for all local governments will commence on the 10th of November 2025. And the Commission also has announced that the polling date for the 2026 general election will be on the 15th of January 2025. The Commission has announced that the polling date for the 2026 general elections will be on the 15th of January 2026. Now, the Commission also would like to inform all those that are coming for nominations. Number one, to make sure that they have scrutinized and filled their nomination forms properly. Number two, to make sure that the supporters, because each candidate must be supported by 10 registered voters in the constituency where that person is going to contest. We ask them to make sure that they check the particulars. They check the particulars of their supporters to make sure that they are registered voters, to make sure that they have given them correct details of their national identification numbers or voter details, to avoid a situation where petitions can come by people saying that this person was nominated and supported by wrong people who are not registered voters. The Commission also, of course, asks them to fulfill all the requirements, pay the nomination fee of 3 million Uganda shillings, make sure that they have the right passport photos for use on the ballot paper, but most importantly, to inform them that campaigns will begin on 10th of November. And tomorrow, the Commission does not expect campaigns. The Commission has mentioned that they are at liberty after nomination to meet their supporters to celebrate nomination. But that does not in any way mean that campaigns have started. Processions are not allowed. Processions where people stop and close roads, disorganized markets and other public spaces, that is not allowed. And police has been informed to make sure that compliance with those regulations are met. We also would like to, as a Commission, to inform the media that this is a very critical the platforms to tell lies or things that are not actually accurate or things that are unreasonable, promising things that may not necessarily be reasonable. So, and it is for that reason that as we are here in Mbarara, that the Electoral Commission organized trainings of this nature, trainings and refresher trainings for journalists within the different regions across the country. This one of Mbarara covering the western region that includes Albertine and Hoima and Fort Portal and Kigezi and Ankole, to reflect on our work, to reflect on the way we cover elections, and to emphasize the importance of responsible, professional and credible journalism that enables the citizen of Uganda to make the right choices when the time for polling comes. That they are going to resurface, but what I can say is that every experience in our electoral process informs the next one, meaning that if there is an issue, the effort of the Commission is to make sure that those issues are addressed. So if there were issues to do with the system, if there are issues to do with the internet, if there are issues to do with any element in the nomination process, those lessons have been learned. In fact, the lessons that have been learned from the nominations for local government positions should inform us better so that our nominations for members of parliament are even better. But even most importantly, we hope and we are calling upon those coming for nomination for Member of Parliament to learn from the mistakes that we saw in the nominations for local government and to make sure that those mistakes are avoided. And that's why the Commission has been pointing out some of these areas. One, on the supporters, that they should be registered voters in the constituency, because we were finding in the nominations for local government where the supporters were not even on the register of that particular locality. So the Electoral Laws, Parliamentary Elections Act require that those who support a candidate must be from the constituency where that person is going to contest. We were seeing people being nominated and supported by underage people. You know, there are citizens who are 16 and 17, they are not registered voters, but they have a ndangamuntu, they have a national ID. So you have to make sure that you check these particulars. We are seeing situations where two people would come carrying a stamp of a political party and saying, I'm a flag bearer, I'm a flag bearer. And then some would say, no, that one stole the flag, or that one stole a stamp. So we are asking political parties who are sponsoring candidates as members of parliament positions to make sure that you have cleaned your own houses, that issues that you had in your primaries do not emerge now in the nominations of the Electoral Commission, because often what is unresolved in the political parties ends up reflecting itself in the electoral process that is organized by the Electoral Commission. So we are asking political parties to make sure that you are clear and firm on the people that you've given the flag, that you have mechanisms to make sure that your stamps are secure, that you make sure that the Commission is duly informed of those people that are authorized to stamp and sponsor the candidates, so that we avoid any confusion. We were seeing situations where people were being supported by non-voters, because and then it slips through the process. But people need to know, Uganda needs to know that after nominations, any registered voter is at liberty to come to the office of the Electoral Commission and ask to see a file of anybody who has been nominated and say, this person is fake, they were nominated wrongly, and they are at liberty to make complaints to the Electoral Commission. Members of Parliament must have a minimum level of education of senior 6. If you don't have papers, if you did not go to school and you don't have A-level papers, please don't forge. Don't go to, I don't know the places here, but there's a place in Kampala called NASA. There are some other places, I think in Mbara. You also have your place where the forged papers are made. I don't know whether it is in Chigonji, in Kawale, I don't know where. But don't attempt to forge papers if you don't have them. If you don't have them, go back to school, get them and come back. But we don't want a situation where your papers will be challenged in court and you are thrown out of Parliament because of papers.